how are you going to prepare for the next recession? Spoiler alert, it's already here, folks. My name is Carmen.
And I'm Darius. And preparing for the recession now is kind of like preparing for a hurricane when the hurricane's already here. It's windy outside and you're starting to see things.
The clouds changing.
Yeah, the clouds changing and stuff starting to blow across the street. A couple branches falling down. Now it's time to board up the windows. Nah, it's
you're a little late.
You're a little late. But there are a couple things that you should take in consideration as we move forward with the storm that we're in.
This is the I should have boarded up my windows plan. So first and foremost, before we even go into the 5 points that we have, is we want to make sure that we all understand what's happening when a recession hits. And I'm oversimplifying this. Disclaimer, the Wealth Nation channel is for educational purposes only. If you make financial decisions, please consult with an advisor. That being said, when we think about a recession, I want you to think about your own personal economy. And all of a sudden you just looked at your bank account and said, you know what? I think we're overspending in some places. We need to tweak some things. So you have to pull some levers over here and make sure that your balance sheet makes sense and everything looks good. And it's just about moving money in the right places to make sure that everything lines up. So when you see job market changing, when you see the government's laying off, everybody's laying off, it's because they got to move some money around to make space because they recognize that there's a ton of overspending and we got to figure this out.
And we're already seeing that, with Netflix, Facebook.
We've been seeing Google. We've been seeing that.
Yeah, they're laying off thousands of people, and this is prior to the actual recession.
And all of y'all over there are going, jobs are crazy, or I just lost my job. We should have seen this coming. Right. And you should have prepared for this. That's why Darius said that all of this is like preparing for a hurricane when it's already, the hurricane is down the block. So with all of this being said, it's making sure that you have intentional spending in place. We've been saying this all along until we're blue in the face into this channel, but what is your spending like? Where is your cash? Where are you investing? How are you investing? Are you diversified? What is going on? And why aren't you prepared? Because this continues to happen every decade. And shame on us for not being prepared.
Right. And if we're seeing these Fortune 500 companies starting to lay people off because of they're trying to get to a bottom line and their expenses are high, we should really take into consideration our personal expenses. Do we need to reduce our expenses by 20%? Because if Fortune 500 companies are doing it, then we should probably think about doing the same thing. Yeah. Now, even if we cut our expenses, that means that we'll have additional cash. What should we do with that additional cash?
I'm so glad you said that, because the point that I wanted to conclude with the recession is whenever the recession happens, then as consumers, we are encouraged to spend again.
The opposite of what we should be doing.
To stimulate the economy and to get some money back in everyone's pockets to help even out those baselines. So it's all about strategy. We're not talking about cutting back because of scarcity. We're talking about cutting back for strategic purposes and figuring out where our cash needs to be redirected to so that we can create abundance in our personal economies.
Right. And you create abundance through investing. Now, the first point that we want to make is a lot of times what people do with their retirement is they have all their retirement tied to the stock market. You don't want to have all your money tied to the stock market, because what does the stock market do? It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. You don't want your retirement tied to that, because what happens if you retire when the market's down? Yeah, that you put yourself in a pretty awkward or hard situation to get out of when you've been working for 30 years and you retire during a down recession and a down market and all your money's tied to the stock market. Absolutely. So what you want is diversification with your retirement. You don't want everything in the stock market. You do want some things in your stock market. You also want money in real estate. You want money in fixed assets. You want money in cash. You want commodities. You want to be diversified across different asset classes, not in a particular asset. Yeah, and that's the true definition of diversification, is having your money in other opportunities and not just one asset class. So that's the very first point, is making sure that your retirement, your savings, your investments are not in one asset class. And that's the main thing that we get time and time again. My retirement is gone. My savings are gone. And it's because we had one asset class that we were banking on, literally and figuratively, to get us to retirement or whatever financial freedom looks like for you. Yeah. And then moving on to the next point, which is everything around us goes down in value, but because of inflation, the cost goes up. How is that the case? The value goes down, but the cost goes up. Well, that's what inflation is anyways, because the inflation it reduces the value of the dollar, making everything a little more expensive but less valuable.
Now, I think it's important to mention with this process, because sometimes it's a little trippy when you think about it. Things go down, but the dollar goes up. How does this work, and how does this whole thing come into play? Darius and I had this conversation a while ago, and he was talking about how recessions have a focus. So, for example, in 2008, it was the real estate market. Now it might be the stock market. Whatever the case may be,
2000s it was tech.
Yeah, you have to look at what were the focuses in the different recessions and recognize, like, oh, okay, was I too involved in real estate? Was I too involved in the market? And these are opportunities for you to continue to learn and to get better with your money. I'm sharing this with you because 10X?
Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone, I was watching one of his interviews, and he was talking about in 2008, he lost everything, and he reevaluated all of his finances, and he promised his family that I am going to 10X my personal economy, basically. He created 10X because that is what he did for his finances. He said, I'm going to have 10X of businesses, 10X the investments. I'm going to transform my finances so that I can be too big to fail. Think about that mindset. Be too big to fail. Learn from all of your opportunities and go, how can I go harder next time so that should a recession hit, I'm not affected? And I was so inspired by that, because sometimes we tend to look too small. You know, we just tend to look at the next thing. Okay, I'll be cozy here. Maybe I'll be cozy there.
We're thinking too small.
We're thinking too small. And that completely inspired me to challenge my amazing mathematician husband here to figure out how to do more with our finances come the next recession. And you're bubbling up some great ideas though, babe.
I want you to appreciate it. I kind of don't have a choice. A lot of pressure.
Because of me or the government?
Well, this recession, we didn't have 2 kids either.
Yeah, I think that changes.
Yeah, we don't work for us anymore. We work for them.
We just got 2 employees. Anyways, we say all that jokingly, but these are the conversations that we have, and these are the conversations you should be having. And if you want to have these conversations, then definitely click on the link below and join the Wealth Nation. We would love to welcome you into our family so that you can continue to cultivate whatever it is that financial freedom looks like for you.
Right. Now, the next point we want to make is the point of whole life insurance, especially since we just talked about joining the Wealth Nation family. Is one of the things that we speak heavily on is whole life insurance. And one of those reasons is because 5 to 7 years ago, we started financing our entire lifestyle using our whole life insurance policies. And if we fast forward to right now, what we have is an influx of cash that can be used to take advantage of whatever asset class that goes down. Yeah. Now, the nice thing about whole life insurance, just the product itself, a dividend paying whole life insurance policy, is when the market's going down, it's the only asset that will continue to increase. It's the only asset that will not go down regardless of what the markets are doing.
Now, it's important that you heard Darius correctly, because we get a lot of people that say, hey, Carmen, what about index universal life? What about universal life? What about variable life? These are different life insurance products. And we have never funded any one of these policies simply because they do not provide guarantees. Whole life insurance is the only product that provides a guarantee. And for us, that is gold, because we need to be able to be predictable when it comes to investing and moving money. We need to make sure that the money that we're banking on, literally and figuratively, is there and it hasn't changed based off of what the market is doing, because we need that baseline. We need that consistency to continue to make smart investments for our own economy.
Right, because it's our foundation. You want to understand exactly what to expect of your foundation, and you don't want your foundation to be shifty or moving like sand.
Yeah.
Because it's
you don't
hard
want to build a house on sand.
Right, because it's hard to make decisions based off of that. And another reason why we use whole life insurance, like Carmen said, is because it provides a guarantee. We know where we stand, and we know where we're going to stand 5, 6, 7 years from now.
Yeah, and with this point too, it is very important for you to understand the difference between banking and investing. I know that's a lot of reasons why our audience can tend to get tripped up, is because they go, oh, I'm investing, but really no, we're talking about banking, or vice versa. So the first thing is get clear get clarity, true clarity with the money that you have that you're saving and what are you doing with that money? Because 9 times out of 10, the money that you're saving, you're probably just investing it, which is fine. But is your savings in a asset, or is it protected by an asset that provides guarantees before you even go to start invest?
Right. Like the misunderstanding that 401k is a savings account.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
401k isn't a savings account. It's an opportunity for you to invest in the market or whatever your company is investing in.
That's a
whole
point.
life insurance, you don't invest in whole life insurance.
Yeah.
You only purchase whole life insurance and you use the cash value to then invest. So we mix up products. And what we have to do first and foremost is understand the products that we do have and how they work.
Yeah. And also how I would even say the ultra wealthy work, because like we were just saying in an earlier point, when the large corporations are laying off, we should start taking notes because if they're successful, if they have hundreds of millions of dollars, let's take a note from them and go, okay, maybe we need to start readjusting some things.
Yeah. If they're reducing their expenses, we should reduce our expenses too.
They know something that we don't know. So we go start being more strategic as well. So that's what we want to start doing, because if you know the differentiators between retirement accounts, for example, ultra wealthy people can't even put money into retirement accounts because they break the maximums with just a few $1,000s. So that's not an asset that you're going to find ultra wealthy people are using because they really don't qualify for it because they make too much money.
Well, how about that?
I'd be darned.
How about that?
What are they saying, Sumter? I'd be darned. I'd be John Brown.
We're going to talk about my people. We're going to talk about my people.
my Southern charmer.
Now, that's very interesting, because how can you have so much money that you can't put your money into something that most people put their money into?
Nuggets.
So if 80% of the people, which are employers, are able to contribute to a 401k, but you have so much money you can't contribute to, we should be really following the direction of people that are already successful.
Hence that you should have boarded your windows plan
prior to it started getting windy outside and dark and cloudy.
Exactly. So moving on to the fourth point is, if you are using whole life insurance, for example, with the cash that has accumulated inside of your policy, this is an amazing opportunity for you to buy on the low so that you can take advantage of other asset classes that all of a sudden have depreciated. That's what strategy is about. And that's what happens in recessions, is those who are prepared it's like Black Friday for those who are ready, right? And they recognize that a certain portfolio is going on sale, and they go, all right, the cash that I have over in here in this asset class, I'm going to use to buy up whatever I can that is available and is now on sale.
Yeah, this is we might want to call this money season.
Yeah,
we don't know where the market is going to go, but for those of us that do have liquidity, we can take advantage of whatever opportunity presents itself, while other people have to stay on the sideline.
Yeah.
Because we were prepared for it.
Exactly. And that also just leads into the fifth point, which is, if you weren't prepared, you can get prepared now, because again, remember, if you remember what we said in point number 3, is whole life insurance is the only product that appreciates when everything else is going down. So if you haven't prepared, then we absolutely love whole life insurance. It's something that we utilize every day for our own finances, and we want to make sure that you understand everything that goes on with these policies and the nuances. So you could start now, and come time for the next recession, you have the cash built in the policies so that you can start investing in other assets.
Right. Now, again, the whole life insurance policy itself is not the investment. Whole life insurance is a product that we use so that we can do banking. Banking is a verb of financing our lifestyle. And instead of financing our lifestyle through a bank and paying the bank's interest, what we're doing is we're borrowing money from the insurance company so that we can then finance things ourselves and pay ourselves the interest. What this mindset shift allows us to do is it allows us to receive the interest that we were paying out to somebody else. And what this does is it creates more cash in your system, so that we can take advantage of opportunities that presents itself, like a recession.
Absolutely, because we're creating two different guarantees. There's a guarantee that grows inside the policy, and then there's another return that you're getting when you take that money to invest.
And even if we take the policy outside, even if we take the policy out of the conversation, and what we've created subconsciously by financing our own lifestyle is golden in itself. Because we think differently of how we use our money, and the money that comes into our household, it stays longer. It stays longer, and we're able to purchase the major purchases.
So what I was just going to say is double dipping is a term that we use we use lovingly. As we get money, we get a return inside the policy, and we get a return from whatever our investments or us owning our own debt comes with. And if you want to learn how to own your own debt and continue to have these conversations that Darius and I are having, then again, click on that link below. We would love to welcome you into the Wealth Nation.
Right. Now, another point that I want to make is a couple years ago when we were learning this stuff, how it was introduced to us from the wealthy people that was around us, is the fact that recessions do happen. And when you have your money invested, when you have a whole life insurance policy and you borrowed the money out of your policy and you have it out in these different investments, what it allows you to do is when the market starts to dip, you can take your money out of these investments and fill up your policy. So now while the market's going down, you have your money safely inside of your banking system, and you can ride that wave up as everything's going down. And then you can take advantage of those discounted products, stocks, real estate, fixed assets, commodities, whatever it is, you can take advantage of that while everything else is going down. It's just important that you understand the game and how to play the game. And it starts by having these conversations, watching videos like this to just start planting seeds. Those seeds are going to blossom, and it's going to create a garden of abundance. And who knows what is going to come next recession and what you'll be able to do. But it's about starting now, educating yourself so that you're prepared when things like this happen. Because we never want anyone to be a victim of what's happening in the government. If you control your own economy and are in tune with what's going on, you're never going to be a victim or fall prey to what's happening because you are in control. Too many times people don't feel like they're in control or can control their own personal economy. But again, it's all about intentional spending, keeping your ears to the ground, ear hustling, doing what you got to do, and making sure that you're making the right moves for you and your family. If you want more information on how we got to this point in our economy as a result of the Fed's increasing interest rates and inflation, check out this video here.
And don't forget to own your own lifestyle,
or someone else will.